was going to be leading with, but Phillips has been over in Ireland working on some of the things that Chimaev exposed. Now we've got a little seminar there off of the...
And not leave himself exposed at any moment.
And John Phillips just loves to fight. I sent him a message, asked him some questions.
And he said, DC, that he cannot get drawn into a brawl with Phillips. And he actually wants to take this into the deep waters as well. Career Park is 29. The Welshman Phillips recently turned 35. Phillips is taller by an inch and comes to fights with a 2.
Set to go with the next bout tonight. 3 rounds this in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's a striker standing 5 feet 11 inches tall. Weighing in officially 186 pounds, this veteran holds a record of 22 victories, 10 defeats, and 1 no contest. Here is the Welsh wrecking machine fighting out of Swansea, Wales, Jun Phillips. And across the octagon stands his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He is a boxer standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in officially 185 pounds in 15 professional fights. His record 11 victories and 4 defeats. Fighting out of Seoul, South Korea, here is the Iron Turtle, Jun Yong. And your referee in charge of the action is Łukasz Bosacki.
So there's a big clash between 2 middleweights. Thank you very much, Red. With us here, the whole crew out of the Flash Forum in Abu Dhabi. John Phillips in the grey, the Iron Turtle in the red. Phillips with that southpaw stance, always primed with huge power.
I was just about to say, John, the stance that Phillips has got.
It's like, just different, right?
I dare you to come near me. I dare you to come near me.
That's exactly what it looks like. He's got his hands up and his shoulders cocked. He's ready to go.
You said it on the walkout, Dan. I remember John Phillips on the UK scene. I had a teammate who was going up against him, and he scared the living bejesus out of me. He's a terrifying man.
He's very, very intense. You could see him laser focused across the octagon, but he'll quite happily play this game because he knows at some point Jun Yong Park's got to step in with that jab, and that's when the power shots start coming looping around the sides.
What we saw in Jun Yong Park's last fight was this, right?
Oh,
it was very early.
He
did it very, very early, but you see him kind of pausing because of the power of Phillips. But that was a beautiful high crotch takedown right in the Phillips. And that's the thing, right? That's the one glaring hole in John Phillips's game.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, Park didn't even have to go to a second level of the finish. He was able to just grab the leg and drive in the Phillips and secure a takedown. Phillips needs to really work on the takedown defense.
That wrestling school that Park has been attending since December. They're cheering right now back in South Korea.
Well, I mean, he's showing improvement, right? He landed 5. This is a guy that is known as a boxer, but 5 takedowns in his last fight. He got a takedown already in this fight, and now he's got John Phillips fighting him exactly where he needs the fight to be. Because guess what? No matter, it don't matter how hard you punch. If you're fighting from the ground and you're fighting from your back or defensively, you ain't gonna knock him out.
Over under control here for Park. Looking to pull away that left leg of Phillips.
That must be tight because Phillips went back down to the mat. He was trying to stand, and you can see Park wrenching on him, and he went back down to the mat to try to avoid the submission. But he's doing a really good job of going 2-on-1 baseball bat grip on one wrist, defending that guillotine choke.
But it's got to be careful of his neck.
Go grab the fence.
Park on the back here, got hooks in. John Phillips going to try and free those hooks, but this is not a good position for him here. He's going to get peppered with shots.
This is an all too familiar position as well for John Phillips here on Fight Island.
Oh, he's got to watch his neck. He's lifting his neck. Parker's doing a good job of collecting the opposite side wrist.
Really good work as well. Fed that through for that grip. And he's paintbrushing the face of Phillips at the moment.
And you've seen John Phillips get beat by rear choke before. So you see that Jun Yong Park did his homework and put him into that position very early.
And done his homework since his UFC debut against Anthony Hernandez as well, who was able to take him down, I think 6 times, and finally finish the
he's flattened him out now. This spells trouble for John Phillips.
It looked like Park is a little bit high on the back, but he was just waiting for Phillips to give him enough space to drop his hips into him and flatten him down.
Trying to punch that through. Opted for some hammer fists. Phillips then turns into him, rightly so, but it's a really nice float there by Park, who keeps that back control, or certainly has, I think, one hook. Can't see from my position. Yes, one hook in.
Yeah, and I think that's because Phillips went to his back and got where it needed to go, but he didn't even catch an underhook. If he would have caught an underhook on Park when he went to his back, it would have allowed him to get better position as he tried to go back to his feet. But right now, he's right back where he started.
DC, look at that. 44 ground strikes already.
Well, Phillips struggles here, right? Remember Hamzat's fight. Hamzat landed so many strikes on him before he submitted him.
How cool was it for Hamzat to go into Phillips' locker room before this fight and give him a couple of tips?
Great control here by Jun Yong Park.
Yes.
I mean, just consistent control, taking the opportunities to strike when they're there, not rushing anything.
What a difference from last fight, right? We saw Malarkey rushing. Jun Yong Park is just taking his time. He's taking whatever Phillips gives him, opposed to trying to rush and force Phillips into the next position.
And Phillips taking a look at the clock there. I think he's weighing up his options, and probably he's going to hang out here for 30 seconds and be returned to the feet by the second round.
And that's very smart. That's very smart of him. Take your time, get a restart at the beginning of the second round, but be on high alert because that takedown is coming much earlier for Jun Yong Park.
So a little slower pace now from Park as Phillips is just fixated on that clock and maybe having a quick look at see where the danger's coming from. So we're going to go to a second round here from Fight Island.
Okay, sit down, relax. Just get your breath back. No, don't worry about it, just get your breath. Big, deep breaths. Just recover. Big recovery. You see my head's off on the ground, there's nothing there. But you know what we need to do now? Yeah. We need to be really busy with our hands and keep them guessing. Because he sets you up. And keep circling, win the outside. Win the outside.
Round number 2, and we see that Jun Yong Park amassed over 4 minutes of ground control time in that opening round. That is a huge round in the bag.
I love the corner work. I love the corner work of Phillips' corner. He said, win the outside, which means as a conventional fighter versus a southpaw, keep your foot on the outside. It puts you in a better position to defend takedown. But Park went right back to his takedown. He needs to rush here back to his feet if he's going to defend this.
Oh, Phillips didn't get his back to the fence either, and now Park is in a dominant position once more.
And interestingly, in that first round, 68 strikes were landed by Jun Yong Park, but 0 at distance. Every single strike was landed on the feet and on the ground. Sorry, and I think John Phillips was expecting at least something on the feet so he could try and counter it. But he tried to counter the takedown in that scenario there with the uppercut, and has found himself in the same position he was in the first round.
Well, I went some way to translate the media interviews for Jun Yong Park, and he was telling South Korean media that he was going to use long-range boxing, so very different to actually how he had the plan laid out.
Well, I mean, but it's smart, right? Jun Yong Park is doing exactly what he needs to do. It's proven that John Phillips struggles with this type of fight style, and it's allowing Park to really get out ahead of him in this fight.
We have John Phillips controlling this arm here, and I'm not thinking that Jun Yong Park's going to do this, but he could possibly sit off to an arm in guillotine. It might be risky. I think he's going to probably try and stay in this position. I keep seeing the Joker-tine opportunities in these positions when guys pull the arm over to the opposite side of the head. But Phillips, he needs to explode back to his feet here because Park is in control. He's dominating. He's racking up the points with these strikes.
Let's listen into Phillips' corner as he's coming under fire.
Same again, John. Keep defending. Little roll, John, little roll. Don't let him flatten you. Don't accept that.
Hand fight, hand fight.
Keep hand fighting, John. Let's walk.
Hand fight.
Don't worry about the hook. Just keep hand fighting. Come on. Try and isolate that punching arm. Let's go. Keep working. Let's go, John. He lost the hook. Here, come on.
If you're John Phillips, he's trying to clear the hook, right? He's starting to step that leg out, and sometimes he gets it out, but then Park puts it right back inside. And he's got to do something the second time. When the hook comes out, maybe hit a roll like Coach is yelling for. Maybe get back to his back, try to catch an underhook as he goes to his back. But he's got to put more than one defensive action together. He can't just think that Jun Yong Park is going to allow him to clear his foot and then get back to his feet.
The main danger throughout this fight so far is that Jun Yong Park wants the back. He wants to control and strike, grab a hold of a wrist, keep threatening the rear naked choke. Phillips is just waiting too long in these positions. He has to scramble.
Yeah, a bit more intensity there.
There it is. You see, there it is. There it is. You saw him clear the hook. Now get to your feet. You cannot wait if you're John Phillips. Because Jun Yong Park is going to put it right back in there. Or right there, you can drive that right hand inside, Dan, and go to almost like a crackdown in a wrestling position, then try to force an action.
And this as well, I mean, 88% of Jun Yong Park's strikes are landing, 150 of 171 total strikes. I mean, they're not significant, only 35 significant strikes, but when you're in this position and the judges' scorecards, everything's significant because they're all landing.
I mean, these are 10-8 rounds, right? These are 10-8 rounds. He's dominating every facet of the fight.
Sometimes when you're blessed with world-ending power like John Phillips has got, you kind of wait for it a little too long.
Yeah.
And he's accepting this position.
Defend yourself, come on. John, defend yourself.
Well, the referee urging Phillips to defend himself intelligently. And now he's opting to try and deaden the leg of Jun Yong Park. But from here, DC, like, what do you want to see from Phillips?
You got to do something, right? You got to find a way to just change the position. Even if he doesn't roll, just roll forward. Cause an action, because this is doing nothing. They're going to stop the fight.
Yeah, this is getting closer now.
And, I mean, this isn't crazy punches to end the fight. Jun Yong Park right now,
but it's the accumulation, right?
To step in.
He's over 200 punches now. And the problem as well is that John Phillips has Jun Yong Park on his back, so he can't even see where these punches are coming from to defend them properly.
Over 8 minutes of control time and counting.
And three takedowns as well. Very impressive work by Jun Yong Park.
Look at the difference in the strike count, Hardy. I mean, this is crazy.
And this is Jun Yong Park. It's not Khamzat Chimaev, who's an excellent wrestler, but he's obviously worked really hard. We'll be back with round number 3 after these.
How's that possible? Jun Yong Park is cut. How's that possible?
Yes, I know that. You're going to stop. Okay, no job. Sit down, John, relax. Okay, big breaths. Just recover. Big breaths. Big breaths.
I mean, John Phillips from the bottom here throws an elbow and cuts Jun Yong Park very bad. For all the strikes that have landed on John Phillips, Jun Yong Park is the one with the big cut.
Something we have to bear in mind as well is if that cut gets any worse, the doctor could step in.
Yeah, I mean, would that be the craziest?
Would be crazy.
That would be the craziest thing ever. John Phillips' corner told him the exact right thing, Hardy. He said, get after him, man. Just let it go. We're down 2.
Oh, and he is getting after him.
Yes.
You know that level change is coming. As soon as Jun Yong Park sees the opportunity, he's level changing. And with a 100% success rate, he's got no reason to not.
He's got to drop. Look at this. See, John Phillips does not anticipate takedowns at all. He kind of waits till you get to his legs to try and defend, and he is not well versed enough to do that. He needs to start to learn to, I mean, look at the odds. Look at the odds.
That's insane.
Has that ever happened
That's
before?
2,960.
Have you ever seen that before?
I've never seen that before, and I tell you what, I haven't seen before, no one's seen before. This is a new record for the middleweight division for ground strikes over 3 rounds, previously held by Chael Sonnen over Nate Marquardt, and he has done so by a margin. I think it was something like 35 strikes already past that record, and I'm sure he's going to land a couple more.
It's so crazy that Jun Yong Park has been able to do what he's done.
He's a striker. He was a striker. With I mean, he obviously had abilities everywhere, but he's done this in a really good fashion. And what I like about it as well is he's mixed his arts. It's not just controlling, like we saw a little bit from Jamie Malarkey before. He's trying to do damage. He's trying to finish the fight. He's looking for opportunities to strike.
And Phillips again completely nullified. Over 3 minutes on the clock. 100% takedown success for Jun Yong Park. 4 of 4. We're heading towards 10 minutes of ground control. And I mean, he's going to be easy at 250 strikes before the end of this fight with an 85% success rate of what he's throwing.
But Dan, what would you like to see from Phillips here? Because it's very defensive. He's not
urgency.
He's not digging for an underhook. It's
urgency. He knows that Park wants to take his back. He knows that in scrambles that's the vulnerability. But waiting here, I mean, the referee will step in and stop it. You know, because this is not intelligent defense. Even though he's not really getting damaged, and these are the kind of shots that John Phillips can take all day. He's not fighting back. He's not doing anything. It's very, very uncharacteristic of John Phillips.
Do you think it's a little bit of a case of they're not really hurting,
yes.
so I'm therefore not moving too much? Because in the last round, when Park decided to put a little more oomph into his shots, Phillips started to move.
Yeah, I think that could quite well be it, John. But with less than half a round now, I don't think John Phillips feels like he's going to be able to submit Park off his back. He's got two submissions on his record, but John Phillips is not really a grappler. He needs to be on his feet to win this fight. And with the last 2 minutes left, he's going to have to be proactive about getting up to his feet, because Park's not going to let him there.
Well, at least he's in guard now, and that's a bit better from Phillips. He's trying to get back to his feet, but he's wrapped up pretty nicely and quickly by Park, who then sends it back down, establishes control, and continues to strike.
It's a nice short elbow from Park. Threatening the neck again. He's under the chin, but John Phillips is going to fight that. But Park quite happy to rinse and repeat this process. Control him, pepper him with shots. He's going to look to get that near side hook in. You can see him already prepping that right foot to slide in position. There it goes. Now he's going to drag John Phillips back against the fence.
It feels like Phillips is pausing at the wrong times as well, Dan. Could he have done a little bit more there?
I think so. I think so. You've got to start chaining this scrambling together, otherwise it's going to continue to get nullified. DC is the best person to speak to this, because you put people in this position all the time.
Yeah, but then we talked about it very early in the fight, right? When he starts to do one thing, just continue to move. Like, just go in and continue your actions, not one action. Jun Yong Park has shown that he has the ability to follow you as you get moving.
He's going to be at 300 strikes if he keeps going. 40 seconds left on the clock. He's what? Well, 20 strikes away now. 20 total strikes away from getting 300 strikes. I mean, that is not only breaking a record, that is setting a new record that's going to be very difficult for anybody to reach.
For sure.
Aside from Hamzat Chimaev, if he's got a grappling dummy that stays there for 3 rounds. I mean, this is just a working over by Jun Yong Park. Very, very impressive to see.
This is now, well, he's looking at beating the overall UFC record for ground strikes as we approach the last few seconds of the contest, and it doesn't look like we're going to get much change here. So we're going to see a very comprehensive look to the judges' scorecards.